In our previous video, we showed how to convert a demand forecast document into a standard EDI format and receive the extraction as a CSV file via email. We then created an automation so that every attachment received from a specific email is saved to a designated SharePoint folder. If you haven't seen that video, be sure to check it out. In today's video, we'll continue from where we left off. We will automate the process of entering new data into an Excel table on SharePoint. We'll start by receiving the extracted data from extract.ai in Excel format via email. Then, we will use Power Automate to transfer that data from the email attachment to our master file on SharePoint. So let's get started. First, go to Power Automate, where we will create a new sequence for automated cloud flow. Let's name this flow Copy Data to a Master File. Our trigger is SharePoint when a file is created or modified, properties only. So we'll choose this one. Choose the site address on your SharePoint where your Excel extraction files are being saved to, as well as the library. In order to transfer data from one Excel document to a table in our master file, we have to make sure the extracted data is in a table as well. We do that by adding an action from Excel Online Business, Create Table. Under Location, choose the SharePoint site where all your Excel extractions are saved to. Under Document Library, choose the correct document library on SharePoint. For File, we need Dynamic Content. Search for SharePoint Identifier. Table range is a bit tricky, since we don't know how many rows our document will have, and each demand forecast sent from customers will most likely have different amounts of rows. We want to define more rows in table range than what we expect our documents will have. These rows will be blank once the table is made, but don't worry, we will eliminate them in a later step. In this case, I know I will have 4 columns and no more than 50 rows, so I will write as a table range A1 to D50. From advanced parameters, we will choose columns names and write the names of our columns exactly as they are, separated by comma. We are adding a delay action to make sure Power Automate will have enough time to create a table within Excel file that just arrived on SharePoint before moving on to the next action. 1 minute is enough for my file, but make sure you also check and customize this time based on the amount of data you have. At the end, when we test our flow, if you get a failure at the Create Table step, you'll know you need to increase the delay. Now let's add an action to list rows in Present Table. Under Location, choose the SharePoint site where all your Excel extractions are saved to. Under Document Library, do the same thing. For File, we need Dynamic Content, so SharePoint, and then choose Identifier. For Table, we need Dynamic Content as well, and we can select body name. From advanced parameters, choose Filter Query. This is where we filter out the empty rows that we don't want and have created in table range. We don't have to choose all the column names, just one. I will choose quantity and write either quantity NE and 2 single quotes, or quantity NE null. This way, no empty rows will be uploaded to your master file. We want to make sure that data from every new attachment is copied to the master file, so what we need is a control called Apply to Each, body value. Inside the Apply to Each loop, we'll add a new action, add a row into a table. Under Location, we'll choose the SharePoint site where all of our Excel extractions are saved to, and under Document Library, let's choose the correct document library. Here, we select the master file where all of our data will be copied to, and then the correct table, and in my case I only have one, so that's table 1. Now from advanced parameters, let's select our columns. For each column, we have to write this expression manually. Items, apply to each, and then the column name. So I'm just gonna go and copy paste each one of the expressions and just change the last part. After we are done, we can save our flow. Before we test it and see if it works, we have to create an integration in the Extract AI app. So this will be the exact same process we did in the previous video, except this time we want the extraction to come as an Excel and not a CSV file. So go to the Extract.ai app, click on Create a Template, and under Sales tab, choose Demand Forecast Report. Here you can customize your template by your liking, by adding or removing fields. Now we go to integrations, where we'll create a new email integration. We're doing this so we're gonna get every extraction directly to our email and we don't have to download it manually from the app. Make sure to choose the right template. In our case, we named it Demand Forecast-Excel. And make sure the reply to sender box is checked and choose Excel as email attachment format. I don't want the email to include the original attachment, so I will uncheck this box, but if you do want it, you can leave it checked. Now let's test our automation. First, we'll forward our customer's email with the attached document to the unique email address connected to our template. This will send it to the Extract AI app, and we will get the extracted document sent to our email address. Okay, so you can see that we got our extracted data. We created an automation in a previous video, so let's see if this file will be saved directly to our SharePoint folder. Okay, so we can see that it's here. Great. Now, if today's automation works correctly as well, this data should first be transformed into a table and then transferred to our master file. Here's our table, and we can see the extra empty rows here. Let's see if the data will be imported into our master file without the empty rows. Brilliant, this is exactly what we wanted. So we got all the data and none of the empty rows. There you have it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.